we can get the replay sent out for those who are needing it. So, welcome everyone to the Becoming Her Masterclass. We are going to spend the next hour together just talking all things fitness, nutrition, mindset. And my biggest goal today with this coaching call is just to leave you feeling really empowered, feeling really excited for a new week. I love doing calls on Sundays because Sundays are my favorite days. And it's because it's your day off for most of the time. It's your day to reset. The day to really wipe the board of whatever happened last week. Good things, bad things. We get a fresh weekend to really just set the mood and set the intention of what we want to see happen in this next week. And the fact that you're here, you took the first step of just joining this call is already a huge win. But the fact that you're here and getting this coaching call with me, I hope you leave just with that value, with the energy ready to attack a new week and a game plan for the next couple weeks as we are getting closer to summer. We want to start planting some seeds now. We don't want to delay. We don't want to wait. If you have elaborate plans for your fitness goals, you want to get to look a certain way, now is the time, guys. There is no more delaying, okay? So, just a little bit about me. A lot of those that are on the call, you know who I am. You've either worked with me, or you've seen me online. But I am Tara McMillan. I'm a certified wellness coach, personal trainer, and holistic nutritionist. And my goal is to help women not only transform their physical bodies, but to develop a really true inner confidence to go after all of their goals and to change how they view themselves. So I am the founder of Elevated You, that is my company, and the creator of the Becoming Her method. So this is a lot of science-based methodology in my coaching to get clients to lose weight. But it's not only that, it's creating the sustainable lifestyle, which we are going to talk about because we are breaking free from the all or nothing mindset. It is a toxic mindset. We're going to let that relationship go. We're cutting off our ties and we're going to learn how to build a routine that really just supports you and where you are in life. And not only that, but if life changes, because it will, life's going to change all the time. And so the tools I'm going to teach you today are to be adaptable, to be able to go with the flow of life. If you hit a wall and something happens in life, you have a feedback mechanism, a specific lifestyle that you go back to and you adapt to where you are in life and don't put pressure to just go all in and, hit that wall. So we're going to talk about sustainability. We're going to get you fired up for the next week and just really excited to go over some things. So, my biggest goals and expectations from you as the listener is just to have your journal or your phone with your notes app ready. It's always the best value to any type of coaching you do, just having something ready to take some notes. That's something that resonates to you. Not everything today may resonate with you. You may say, Tara, I've heard that before. But my goal is when you hear it from me, it'll be the time that it sticks. That's how I operate is you got to just hear it, write it, and then execute it. So I'm going to talk about a lot of the methodologies that I use in my private coaching and what has I've used for myself the last couple years and just give y'all a real life scenario of me humanizing myself, my story, and how I've gotten to where I am today. Some action steps you can start using today because you know that we do not wait, right? If you have the idea, you have the motivation, you have the discipline, it's your responsibility to take action, whatever it is that you want to do. So we're going to take action today. And then we're just going to talk about how to build this dream body and the identity to sustain that dream body, right? Because it's one thing to get the dream body, it's another bracket to be able to maintain the version of you who sustains it. And not only that, keeps up leveling from there. And then what I want you to learn today is the real reason why women struggle, because I've worked with dozens of women up to this point. I worked at a weight loss clinic for a couple of years, and that's where the mindset piece really made sense to me, why it's so hard for women nowadays to not only just commit to a plan, but to follow through with the consistency. And it's a mindset game, and it's a very deep journey, but it's one that we can all work on today, and it's very important for every aspect of our life. The identity shifts required to transform your body, the methodology of the Becoming Her method, and how to create habits that will actually stick and not just be some temporary cycle that you do. So, who is this for? Maybe you're a viewer here who you've worked with me in the past, you are working with me and you're here to get that hour coaching call. Maybe you are struggling right now with consistency. Maybe you're feeling overwhelmed because summer is, 8 to 10 weeks away. If we're looking at a calendar, spring starts March 20th, summer starts June 24th. So there is still a couple weeks, but I say 8 weeks because that's like right at May. And if you're a Texan, you know the summer weather starts a little earlier than the calendar summer. So you are ready to start now. You don't want to be in that all or nothing cycle. You want to learn how to build discipline without making it overtake your life because that's a huge part of this lifestyle is balance. You want to be able to live your life at whatever stage you're in. So we want to learn how to find that balance, which is individualized, which is why I'm going to give you the tips. And I want you to ask yourself the question, how does this fit for my life? Not her life, not my life, for your life. Okay. And you want to build the confidence and the strength in the body you feel proud of. Nobody doesn't want to feel proud in their own body, but not only that, having true confidence that you believe in what you're doing. You're not just doing something for the sake of it because you saw it on TikTok. You are doing it with confidence that it's changing your life and you believe in it. Okay. So let's just give you a little background on my story. You may know a little bit, but I want to talk about specifically the first picture here that you see from 2018 and the second picture here, which is like 2022, and kind of the periods in between, right? So when I first started my journey, I really wanted to get the dream body, right? I wanted to lose weight. I wanted to figure it out. And in the very beginning, before I was doing the yo-yo dieting, I was going all in, making these insane bodybuilding type meals, chicken, rice, broccoli, keto, and like those things just didn't work for me because I would binge and I would have these periods after where I would overconsume because my brain was so confused. It was like, we're not eating food and now we're too hungry and we're eating all these foods and it would always lead to this crash out, okay? It was the all or nothing methodology in my workouts. I would work out at some point I was hitting 2 workouts like a day. It was just crazy because I was like, I gotta get this done. I want to be this way. I don't want to look this way. And it really just left me disconnected. And quite frankly, it made me not enjoy this process at all. Like I was disliking going to the gym. I was disliking meal prepping, and I kind of revolted for a little bit. So we turned to the turning point when I realized that I just kept trying to do what everyone else was doing. I was trying to just catch on these plans of what I was seeing online, and I was just following the facade and the what was the thing at the time, and none of it resonated with me. Like none of it. I was just following someone else's plan because I liked what I saw, but I had no idea what they were doing. I just saw like a 2% of it. And what really changed for me is when I started asking myself what felt good in my journey. Okay. What felt good to do? And I think, again, a lot of the times when I was going through my own journey, because it's a journey, not a race, and I'm still in that journey, I get to share it with y'all and I get to give my expertise on these topics. But I started from nothing. I started from a whacked mindset that it was all or nothing, and it led me nowhere. And so if you look at these pictures, you see 2018 was the first time I had done that yo-yoing for the first 2 years, 2016, 2018, and I was at my kind of like my biggest at that time because I was just going back and forth. And I remember in that moment, I had decided that I've got to figure out a way to like enjoy this because I don't enjoy it right now. I am not having fun. Okay, this is just too much. And so I started to really ask myself the question, what would feel good? And that's when I started making meals that I was actually enjoying that resonate with me. I was asking myself the question every week, what would sound good if you ate this? What type of workouts would feel good, not hitting it too hard, just hitting it the right amount. And that's what really changed it for me as I started being more in tune with what was feeling good with the place of life I was at. And then eventually I stopped caring about the result, which is a huge part of this. I stopped just wanting to hit the dream body because that's all I wanted for so long. All I wanted was to look that way. I wanted the Pinterest board, skinny girl. That's what I wanted for so long before that 2018 picture, being a teenager. I just wanted it so bad. And eventually, something really, really flipped in my mindset where I stopped caring about being that. I started asking myself what felt good. And what happened is I started falling in love with the fact that I loved showing up every day. I loved going to the gym when nobody told me to. I loved making food that I actually enjoyed eating that didn't make me feel like I was suffering or having to choke down water every sip because the food was just nasty. Because I thought I had to do it, right? I was looking at a very linear perspective. And once I was able to pull myself out and be like, I'm just making this really hard for myself. When I really started to enjoy and lean into what felt good, which was committing and showing up and doing it in a way that felt good, the journey became my new hyperfixation. I fell in love with the feeling of getting excited to go to my workouts, with getting to meal prep and getting to share this with people. And the mindset really is what did it for me. Because I didn't transform because I kept changing my plan and trying all these new things because, oh, I want to be this now and I want to be this now. I want to try this. And I think it's great to push yourself. Like I do that all the time, but I just stuck to the plan that I knew was going to work. And I decided to go beyond my capacity. Right when I would want to give up, I'd say, no, you're not going to give up because you committed to this and you're enjoying what you're doing. And of course, it's hard because you've never done it before. So when you transform, or when I transform, it's because I became the woman who followed through. I stopped being the woman who would give up and stop and start and restart the cycle, the self-sabotaging cycle, and fall right back to my old ways. I had to change how I viewed myself and this journey, and that is the biggest turning point I've ever made in my life. And I think a really big problem that I've seen when I talk with clients or I just see online because social media has just taken our life by storm is that we're all trying to find something that we see online because we're so hyperfixated on what's out there, right? And it's all about people looking for the find the motivation. How do you stay motivated or finding the right workout or the perfect diet that that girl's doing or that girl's doing and following only what you see online. But the real problem is you are not asking yourself the question, who do I want to be? What plan feels good for me? How do I want to show up every day and make my difference in this world versus just following what everyone else is doing? And it's shifting into the identity of becoming the woman who creates this lifestyle for themselves. And it's finding a system that works for you and not only just finding it, but sticking with it, right? Like, don't stop the cycle. You've got to stick with it and you compound onto it. I always think about this journey as like building a snowman, okay? It starts with a little ball, you start rolling it down the hill, it starts gaining traction, it starts getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and all of a sudden you have so large of a base, you can't move it, okay? The base, your foundation, it's impin you can't move it. And that's how we look at our fitness journey. It's not with starting this giant overhauling, shifting your life. It's planting the seed of who you want to be. And then you start creating the habits that start making that very tangible, right? Because y'all know I love the word manifesting, but I use the word manifesting in the sense of planting a seed in my mind of who I want to be or what I want. And then I follow it up with the action steps of my habits through fitness, through nutrition, through mindset, through my spirituality. And I connect it all under the umbrella of wellness to shift who I am in that moment to be something bigger and better. Because our mind is the most powerful muscle of our body. And it's the one that's going to make the difference because if you don't believe in yourself, but you're following these plans, it's never going to stick. You've got to put faith in yourself and what you're doing. And I think that is really the biggest problem that I see is the not following through, relying on temporary motivation, not setting a very small intentional seed to blossom into this lifestyle and rushing the process, which is why we're starting now. Okay. If you want your dream body in 8 to 10 weeks, you got to start now. So here's some identity shifts that really just kind of can pull you out of where you are. So your old identity, it may have been somebody who starts over every Monday, right? It's Sunday, okay, let's finish out the weekend. We went out, we went crazy, we ate all that food, we didn't eat any of our meal plan. Now it's Monday, let's start over. That mindset is so toxic. We are cutting ties with that toxic mindset. Relying on motivation. This is again sometimes I always hear this quote. I don't know if y'all have heard it too, but you've got to hear something 7 times in order for it to make sense. And I hope I'm the seventh time because I know you've heard it. Motivation is so fleeting and it is mood based. And even me, the hardest things for me is showing up on social media and really putting myself out there and having to build that confidence. And if I only relied on the moments where I was really motivated and really hyped up on coffee, then I would not be able to have a sustainable business because I would only wait for those high moments. Same thing for your fitness. If you're only waiting for motivation, you're never going to find it, okay? Because life's going to get hard. It's going to happen. Life is a wave. We got to learn how to ride it. And our fitness, nutrition mindset gets to be what grounds us and who we are when life takes us by storm. One of the most important things, I almost want to like move my head because I'm right where this is, but you'll be able to get the replay so you'll see it. But old you breaking promises to herself. If there is one thing you leave today knowing is that if you continuously break promises to yourself, it's actually creating a cycle that is very damaging, right? Because when you make a promise and you break it, it creates this level of you don't trust yourself now. So whenever you want to commit to something, you're already halfway thinking, well, last time I did this and I didn't commit, so you're already halfway doubting yourself. And it's already hard enough to break a promise. So that's why it's so important that you're recognizing that when you make a promise and you follow through and you get that great sensational feeling and you build that self-trust, it's just as damaging or it's the same effect in the opposite direction when you break promises to yourself. And that's the number one thing that will prevent you from actually making a change in your life is breaking promises to yourself. We cannot be self-sabotaging ourselves. That's why we have to create a system that is easy to keep promises with. So your new identity, okay, she's going to show up no matter the mood. And that's why you create this lifestyle. And a huge thing too, anything new that you're doing, it is 100% going to be hard. It's going to be outside of your capacity. It's going to be extremely difficult in the beginning, and it's going to feel uncomfortable. But the good news is that changes because it's when you do something new, it's just not a part of your day-to-day normal subconscious reprogramming. It's something that's completely outside of that. So your body, your brain's already like, "Wait, what's going on? This is not safe. This is new. This is not something I'm used to doing. Pump the brakes." So you have to be strong enough to tell your brain, which is the centerfold of every action that we have, you have to be willing to clear out that what's the word? That feeling of being afraid because it's new, and recognize if you show up and you do the habit every day, you've just created a new system in your subconscious way of thinking. And that is how it becomes easy. But just give yourself the praise that it's going to be hard. That's why you got to show up no matter the mood, because it's just going to be hard, whether you're happy or whether you're sad. And that's just a normal thing for anything that we do. We're just talking fitness related right now. And that's why it's important when you're creating these new systems, you got to create some type of positive affliction with it. Like for me, when I get clients motivated for the gym, I say, wear something that makes you feel good because feel good, look good, feel good. It's a phrase for a reason. Have a really good playlist that gets you pumped up, gets you excited, gets you connected with yourself, gets you tunnel vision into what you're trying to do, and make your environment promote that change, right? Have your gym clothes laid out, have your water bottle ready for the workout, have your gym snack ready to go. Create an environment that's going to help you sustain the habits. Okay. Number two, your new identity moves like the woman she wants to become. Okay. Because I'm going to tell you this, and this is for everything. You got to start before you're her. You can't just become her. You have to start doing and acting like the version of you want to become before you're even her, because that's what sets the motion. That's where the perfectionism is going to bite you. Because if you're waiting until you've perfected this ideology or this perfect commitment, you're never going to start because you're never going to feel good enough to do it. You're always going to have a reason. Oh, I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready. The time's not right. The money's not right. The things aren't right. Things are not right. So you got to start moving like the woman who's already her. Okay. You got to start, right? And that's just, it's like right now. Imagine you don't have, you want to get the body of your dreams, but you don't have it right now. You got to ask yourself the question, if I had that body tomorrow, if I could ask for a prayer and it was God sent and I would wake up in that body, how would I act? How would I move? What are my habits? How am I sustaining this process? And the good thing is you get to start right now. You just start doing it now. You go back and you say, if I was her right now, how would she move? If I had the love of my life, if I had the dream car, if I had the dream relationship, if I had the dream body, how would I act? Well, I wouldn't talk down to myself. I wouldn't limit myself. I wouldn't not show up to my workouts. I wouldn't make excuses because that's not going to get you to where you want to be. So you got to start acting like her right now because you are her. You just need to tap into that version of you by setting the physical habits, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. And you gotta have a system you enjoy, okay? We have to take pleasure in things that are typically not pleasurable. I always tell my clients, I'm like, it's not fun to work out every time, okay? You're breaking your muscles down, you're pushing beyond your capacity. That's not really like fun. So we have to like enjoy it. And that goes back to what I said earlier, creating a good environment to get you ready, have good outfits that make you feel good in your skin, make you feel ready to go, and create commitments from joy rather than a chore. Because the minute it feels like a chore, it's like when you're a little kid and your mom's like, eat your vegetables, and you're like, no, I don't want to. And you just say no because you just don't like being told what to do. Yeah, that's what this is like. So we have to treat ourselves like our younger self and say, well, how can we make you enjoy it? You know, how can we make the little girl in us eat her vegetables? Well, you gotta make a routine that's you can stick with. And that's something through enjoying this process. So let's talk about like this becoming her method that I keep talking about because that's the thing about this lifestyle is that it's not just about the workout routine. It's not just about the nutrition plan. It's not just about the mindset work. It is about creating this entire shift in your identity. And I always tell people, I'm like, think back to who you were like 2 years ago. Like really, really think back. And I just all the time, and I'm like, whoa, man, I didn't realize how much progress I've made in my mindset until I realized who I was 2 years ago, limiting myself, not sticking to plans, ignoring my intuition, not believing in myself, and quite frankly, being really mean to myself. And you've got to be willing to ask yourself, and recognize when you do make those really good lifestyle changes, because that's what this method is all about. It's just about connecting all these things, because wellness, I always say, is the umbrella. Your fitness is a pole, your nutrition's a pole, your mindset's a pole, your spirituality is a pole. All these things are keeping that wellness bracket up, and it's our job to make sure they're all aligned. Because the minute one becomes a little unaligned, let's say you're doing great in your fitness, but you're not really maintaining any type of confidence habits, you're not going to really believe it. You're going to see this great weight loss and be like, I'm still not good enough. No, I'm still not good enough. And old you's like, I would have begged to look like her. And you're not recognizing it because you're so stuck in the physical. You're not recognizing that your mindset hasn't shifted to recognize those wins. Because if you don't recognize the small wins across the journey, you're never going to be proud of yourself. I mean, I've felt that way. I've seen it. I literally have lived it. Okay, this is a part, this method is part experience, part physical neuroscience based facts. Okay? Because when you can align all these things, that's when the transformation is going to happen. Okay? And then we think about the threefold parts, building a fitness routine that you can stay consistent with. And this is why I always say, like, do not look to other people to what the perfect plan is because there is no perfect plan. I change my plan, and I don't mean like I change like what I'm focused on, but I mean like the phase of life I'm in. If I'm in a phase of life where I just know that, I'm going through things, I'm relying on daily movement to be the driver, and I'm getting my walks in, I'm hitting my workouts, I'm doing all those things. So you got to be like, what phase of life am I in? What can I commit to? And forgetting those overtraining or extremes and work out things that you're not going to stick to. We've got to create one that's going to work for you. And like I said, be fun. Okay, lifting weights may not be fun for you, and you may want to be a Pilates girl, and that's great. I think you should do whatever is going to make you enjoy this process, but you've got to have a fitness routine that is rooted in it is going to get you the longevity that you are looking for, the body you're looking for, and prioritizing messy consistent over perfection. Because when you're showing up consistently, it doesn't matter if you show up 20% one day and 100% one day. It's better than not showing up at all. And I think that's another thing too, is that we all want to have the best workout ever. Every workout, if we miss one little thing, we're like, "Ugh, well, we screwed that up. So why even show up next time?" That mindset is so damaging because that's how you nitpick your life. You're looking at your own life and thinking, wow, well, I didn't do that one thing perfectly, so now everything is screwed. I mean, if you think about that for everything, that's exhausting. You're never going to even remotely push past that because that's when people stop. They stop because they don't think they're doing it good enough. In reality, showing up's better than not showing up at all because you keep going after. And then what ends up happening is when you do show up, you actually do a really great job. You prove yourself wrong. It's better to over deliver than under promise, right? When you're over promising things to yourself and you don't deliver, damaging for the mind. But when you under promise, over deliver, instant confidence boost, instant like, oh yeah, let's do it tomorrow. And that's the positive subconscious rewiring that we have to be on, okay? And then nutrition. That's a huge one. Everyone struggles with nutrition for a good reason. We don't have a lot of education on it when we're younger, which is the reason why I went to school for it, because I wanted to learn how to not only eat for my body, but to take care of this body of mine. Like learn how to eat for my body to not just look good, but to feel good. Like it's so underrated what food can do for our body. Our energy levels are just contentment. The stomach is the second brain for a reason. 90% of our hormones are generated from here. So if you're having a diet full of fast food or just overconsumption of processed foods, you're gonna feel like it. You're not gonna feel, you're not gonna have the energy to want to go work out. So that's why you gotta have a diet, and I hate the word diet, but a meal plan that is rooted in fuel, not restriction, and making sure you're focusing on all of the elements of a perfect plate. Or not a perfect plate, but a well-rounded plate, not a perfect plate. And having mindful practice eatings. One of my biggest ones I struggled with was the way I ate food, not what I ate, the way I ate it. Because I used to work at a place where I would have to have 30-minute lunch break in my car, right? Just totally crazy. So I was just shoving food down my throat. Just, we got to get this in. We got to quickly eat. So I started eating that way really quickly, not chewing my food, being distracted, not drinking water in between, not listening to my internal cues of like, hey, you're full, being like, no, 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 I got to eat it all. And that's a habit. So mindful eating is a huge part too. Meal prep basics, just having your basic strategies that you utilize when you're meal prepping. Oh, I already know I'm gonna make this, like me, sweet potato bowls, turkey, bacon, eggs, spinach, fruit for lunch, protein and some other type of rice dish, and then I add the veggies in. So one question that I wanted to kind of throw out there to get you on the right track is what's one way you can simplify your nutrition this week? What's one thing that you could do that would make it easy? Maybe it's meal prepping one meal instead of overhauling your whole life, just doing one meal. Maybe it's trying a new recipe that you've been wanting to try that's going to include more fruits and vegetables. Maybe it's trying to track your protein so you even are becoming aware of what anything is. Because a big part of this is just learning. It's learning portions, it's learning awareness of what you're eating. Because sometimes we add a scoop of this, we put a scoop of that, and then it adds up, and we're like, why are we not losing weight? Well, all those add-ins are coming in. So, what's one way you can simplify your nutrition this week? Take a second, write that question down. I think my head's right under it. Take a screenshot if that is helpful. But that's one question I want you to ask yourself to start getting in the habit of simplifying your nutrition. Okay. And then let's talk about the last piece of this because identity is huge. And I've been saying it a lot on my social media. You're probably like, Tara, what do you even mean by identity? Like, what does that mean? I mean the version of you that identifies as a wellness girly, who identifies as somebody who commits, who identifies as somebody who shows up no matter the mood. Identity doesn't have to be just a one, adjective to describe yourself. It's just who you are. And I think for me, the minute I started identifying as the woman who shows up no matter what's going on in her life, it changed everything for me because I didn't need to keep restarting. I just need to keep showing up. Because your mindset's going to shape what your results are more than the workouts. Going back to what I said earlier, if you don't really see the progress you're making and you start notifying yourself of like, hey, that's fitting differently, or hey, I'm losing weight here. Wait, I didn't even think about that. I'm actually eating less here. Wait, I'm not binging out like I used to. I don't mean that word lightly, but I just mean like I'm not over consuming when I used to eat out here all the time. If you are not recognizing those small identity shifts, like I said, you're never going to feel proud of yourself. You're never going to, and then you're going to think, well, I did all that hard work for nothing. When in reality, you just changed your life and you're not even being aware of it. You just keep restarting and you're in that toxic cycle, I like to think of it as like being limited in a box. You think the same thoughts, you feel the same things, and you don't let yourself pop that bubble and say, wait, it's so much bigger than this. It's so much bigger than just seeing that number on the scale go down. I got to recognize when I'm shifting into a new version of me. So that's why I always ask the question, identity-based habits, who are you becoming? Well, you're becoming the woman who has a morning routine. You're becoming a woman who hits her steps no matter what. You're becoming a woman who decides that you're going to commit to this. And what happens when you start creating these rituals, like I have to call them, because I call them rituals because that means it's going to happen no matter what. That's your time to you, is that's the energy you bring into everything. And attraction is a big part of this, right? We talk about spirituality and attraction, the law of attraction, you attract what you put out there. So if you're constantly putting out negativity, you're shying away from yourself, you're not believing in yourself, that's the energy you're going to get back. But imagine you're somebody who's like, no, I have the routine, I have the plan, I have these things that I'm going. I listen to myself and I'm breaking out of that all or nothing mindset. You start creating a shift in how what is brought into your life, what God, the universe, higher source, whatever it is that you believe in, it gets thrown back to you. And that's when you start really seeing a shift in yourself. So, identity is not just a one adjective word to describe yourself like funny, pretty, intelligent. It is who you are wanting to become, right? Because we all have goals, we all have dreams, and most of us we're all women here, should I say. And as little girls, we imagine and we dream and we get to visualize and we think about who we are and we think about the woman we want to become. And now we're all at the point where it's time to become that. It's time to realize that if we have a dream, if we have a vision of us that we see, it's it's absolutely achievable. Okay. I believe if you think it, you can have it. If you feel it, you can do it. And so we use our fitness, nutrition, mindset as those physical things that we're doing, but ultimately it's about shifting your identity towards yourself. It doesn't matter what everyone else thinks. Okay, we got to also think about that too. We're comparing us to us, not us to somebody else. Never compare to me. Never compare to anyone else. It's you versus you because you're the only you. Okay, you're the only you. You're the only one that knows what's going on inside of here and here. So, our job together, how we connect, is that we create that identity of who you want to be and we make the routines to do it every day. I can tell you from 2018, the minute I really changed my mindset, every couple of years I kind of hit walls where, okay, I hit a wall and then I would lose weight, gain weight. And I asked myself the question, this was 2 years ago is when I really made the shift and it never changed after that. I asked myself the question, why couldn't I stick to it? And it's because I didn't know what I was trying to be. I was just trying to lose weight. I was just trying to do something simple. And as simple as it is, yes, but we want to make it deeper. We want to change ourselves. We want to change how other people view us too. Because that's the thing is that if you want better for yourself, you can get better. Okay. You can get everything you want, but you got to align to the version of you who can maintain that. I think that changed it for me too, is that it's not just about getting to the goal, it's about creating a lifestyle that's going to be able to maintain the success of the goal. And that's how you up level, right? A lot of people ask me, Tara, how do you set these goals and how do you just continue to do this cycle? Are you not exhausted? I'm like, no. What's exhausting about completely like being the best version of me and everything happening for me easily? Because when I wasn't believing in myself, when I didn't have an identity that was resonating as somebody who commits, nothing was going right in my life. Relationships were failing, the jobs were failing. Even when things were going right, things didn't work out. But it was my mindset that I had afterwards, right? Versus letting things happen as they naturally do, breakups, loss of jobs, changes in environment, changes in people. I stopped making it about me and I was like, no, I'm on my path of life. And if this is what higher source God wants for me, I'm not going to question it. We're going to keep going because I have a mission on this earth and everything is meant to work out for me. So I'm going to identify somebody who commits no matter what's going on in my life and not make it about me. And that just completely pulls you away from life circumstances because it's going to happen. We're going to continue to go through life and hit waves, hit walls where we're like, we don't know where to go from here. And this is what we go back to. Our identity is who we go back to. It is what we go back to when we don't know who we are, when we're having that moment of despair of like, it's not working. Why does she get to have this? Why does he get to have this? You've got to be the one who decides to wipe the board and say, no, I identify as the woman who shows up no matter what, who has her routines, who does the hard work, and that's why I'm going to get everything that I'm looking for. Okay, so identity, it's the missing piece, and it is the root of the becoming her method. Okay. Because this is the transformation, right? I go back to this picture because I think about not just like the physical of this, because the physical's there, right? You can see that I've lost weight. You can see that I've gained muscle. You can see, like, you can't really see my face in the first one for good reason because I didn't like my face. But the second one, like, I have a half smile. Like, I can feel how I felt in both pictures, which is funny enough. Um, but you stop starting over, you stop feeling guilty, you stop relying on motivation, and you start becoming confident, disciplined, and magnetic. Because what you're putting out in the universe, it's gonna come back to you. And that's magnetism, law of attraction, things that you want to do. And so these are the mistakes: waiting, trying to follow what you see online, and ignoring your mental and emotional wellness. Because, like I said, there was a version of me a couple years ago. I was working two jobs. I had just become a personal trainer. I was working a in-person nutritionist job. I was working 60, 70 hours a week. So on paper, I was killing it. I looked good physically. I was working crazy hours. So I had the profession was going great, but my mental and emotional wellness was terrible. I had no connection to myself. So I didn't know when I was hitting the wall. And then everything kind of broke down from there. So the breakthrough is going to come when you realize that we're not looking for a destination, okay? And I don't want that to scare you. I don't want that to deter you and think, oh, what do you mean there's no destination, Tara? Like, what do you mean there's no point that I get to stop this? That's what we don't want to have. We don't want to have that mindset. We don't want to have the mindset of like, when do I get to stop? Because that means that you're not really changing your life. You're not enjoying and you're not making the process fun because we want to make sure that your daily commitment's showing up every day. It's building trust in yourself, and that's the journey you want to fall in love with because then you get to keep up leveling. I use the word up level, and what my definition of it is that I envision that higher version of me, the version of me that looks the way I want to look, she talks the way I want to talk, she thinks the way I want to think, and it's just an up level, upgraded version of who I am now. And it requires time. It requires learning. It requires practicing wellness every day. It requires to do the work, and then I just become her. And I do this level of up-leveling because as humans, we're meant to evolve. Okay, we're not meant to stay the same. We can keep our morals, keep our values the same, keep our core circle the same, but you as a human is supposed to evolve consistently. So whilst there's no destination that we're looking for in the sense of like you're gonna hit your dream body, but then you need to also realize that you have the mindset and the testimony of the journey to not only maintain it, but to do it again, right? Like I've been doing this for 10 years, on and off 10 years of learning and experiencing and going through life, like life circumstances, going through the whole 9 yards, and I got a ways to go. But the one thing that just changed for me is when I realized that I feel better doing this when I don't than when I didn't do this, right? Like you enjoy what you're doing when I think back to the old me who didn't have habits, who didn't have morning routines, who didn't understand why I thought the way that I thought, who just thought I was programmed to be a certain way and I couldn't change myself. I was really unhappy. I was really, really, really unhappy and I didn't like who I was and I didn't feel good inside my skin. So now I've created a lifestyle where I do feel good in my skin and I love my routines and they make me feel good. And to people who don't have them, of course it's going to look hard. It's going to look crazy, but that's not my problem. My problem is me because I'm the only one who gets to understand what's going on in here. And wellness is your grounding point. It's the way out of that way of thinking. It is the way to shift your life and you do it over and over and over again, you know? And this is what I'm doing in my program. Okay. We talk about what is this becoming her method. This is what I'm offering for the next 8 weeks because, like I said, I get really, really sad when we see people wanting to start their fitness journey with like 3 weeks to go till summer and they're doing a fad diet or they're doing something temporarily. And it may work. I don't ever want to downplay what other people do, ever. But it makes me sad because there's no real transformation. There's no planting of a seed. And I think about our mind as a garden, okay? We are the gardeners. We tend what's in here. So we have to start planting the seeds of what we want to be in 8 to 10 weeks from now. And we start by doing that now. So this new program that I'm offering, it's different than anything else I've ever offered because this is really about the habitual and the identity work and the things that I've been doing to go, not even just go through life, but go through tough moments of my life where other people I know are like, how have you done this, Tara? How are you not only like good, but you're better than before? And it's because I've dug deeper than I've ever dug before because I've made a commitment to myself that I can have duality, that I can go through hard things and rise through it just as in-depthly, and it's a level that I've never reached before, and it's something I really want to share because it's changed my life and it's already been something where I'm just blown away. So in these next 8 weeks, I'm creating and I've created a system of 8 weeks of personalized programming for you to get to your dream body, nutrition guidance to get you to feeling good in your body, weekly calls just like this where we're going to be interacting and we're gonna have it more community based. This is more like webinar style because I want to get on here and just coach to y'all and just get to talk with y'all. And then the biggest part, which is the habitual and the identity shifts, like really drilling down how to change how you view yourself and stop being mean to yourself because we are very mean to the person inside our body. We would never talk to our best friend like that. So we got to work on that. We're going to change that. And then, like I said, the community of women. My goal in this is to create a very homeostasis of women who are all in the same chapters of life, if not the same chapter, similar places of getting to that next level to feeling good in their skin by summer and really believing in who they are. So this is my program. We are offering it, like everything I said, everything is included for the next 8 weeks. And this is if you really just want your dream body by summer. Like I said, it's the beginning of March. We've got plenty of time to start doing this now. And you're not only going to learn the formula to how to lose weight, but how to maintain the weight loss and keep going, creating new goals. Like me, like it's my favorite thing. So when I hit some type of internal goal and I'm like, perfect, let's keep going. Let's do something else. Let's prove ourselves that we can do even bigger and better. Okay. And ready to change your identity as a woman. Okay. It's National Women's Day, by the way, guys. So it's an even better day to recognize how big of a commitment it is to make to yourself. And it doesn't matter what phase of life you're in. You may be single, you may have a husband, you may have children, but you should still be your top priority because how you take care of you is how you take care of everyone else. And it's very important when you've got to put other people's you're responsible for their emotions as well. So it's important that you're committing to yourself and creating a lifestyle that you love. Like I wouldn't sit here and talk about this over and over if I didn't just fully love it so much and believe in it because it's changed my life and I would never go back to the old me who was just really unhappy and overeating, over consuming, looking to other people for something and to looking to their fitness plans and not recognizing that I'm not seeing what they're doing. I have no idea who they are as people. TikTok and Instagram is very damaging. It's very tough, but like falling in love with this, that's the whole point. Is like falling in love with what it takes. And it's not hard work. It's just commitment. And like I said, anything that you're not doing right now, it's going to be hard and that's okay. It doesn't have to be easy, but it's something that's going to challenge you and that's what makes the difference. So right now, because you're on this call, guys, I am offering a deal. The program's going to be 444, and that's for 8 weeks of coaching. But for the next 24 hours, because you are here right now, I want to slash that. I want to offer this for 333, and that's $111 off. This is for 8 weeks, like I said. And this is for you specifically because you hung out with me for the last hour. You're here, you're committed, you're in this with me. And I want to make sure that that's recognized because taking the first step is very hard. I know everything that I've ever done, it is very difficult to take that first step. So I want to first thank you all for being here. And then I want to throw in the chat, this is my offer for the next 8 weeks to get you to where you want to be. And I'm just really excited. Like I said, this is different than anything I've ever offered because it's something that I've lived and gone through so many times, and I finally have the place to share it and to coach it and to get you to where you want to be because summer is coming. I cannot say it anymore. January and February, we got through the winter months. It's spring, it's happening. It's rainy right now, but it's happening, guys. And you don't want to miss out on what 8 weeks of intense commitment can look like. It can change your life. You can change your life right now by committing to this. And it just takes that first step. And I'm just really grateful y'all are here. I'm grateful that I was able to share so many different things. And like I said, the biggest thing I want you to leave today knowing is that you can change your life at any point in time. I will be honest with y'all, earlier today, I had a moment where I really almost broke down. I was like, man, something hit me. And I was like, man, I feel emotional. I feel this. And you know what I did? It's crazy. I just got up, I shook out the energy, and I immediately said, I'm just grateful that I get to be me. I'm grateful that I get to have these problems. I'm grateful that I'm exactly who I prayed to be 2 years ago. I prayed to be this woman right now. I prayed for her. I prayed to God that I would be able to surrender and believe in myself enough to do this and commit to this plan and commit and believe in it so much that I get to share with other women because it's empowering and you get everything you want. I've attracted everything I've ever wanted in any capacity in my life. And it's because I put the belief in myself. So of course God was going to replicate that in my life. So I want you to know that I'm a human too. I go through human experiences. I'm not just immune to the phases of life and having my own self-critiquing moments. But what I have developed in this Becoming Her program is the mindset to recognize when I'm having those moments and to give myself so much love and to have to work hard to just support myself and the mood immediately shifts. Imagine that you don't let one negative thought ruin your entire day or your journey because you're so self-consumed with it. We've all been there. We all do it. We're human by nature. But the biggest thing I want to teach in this class is how to become the woman that doesn't break promises to herself. How to become the woman that when you look in the mirror, your validation is the utmost and top priority for you. And anything else anyone says is an addition to how you already feel. And that's how you attract the right people into your life. That's how you attract the right opportunities. That's how things work out for people. We talk about these successful people who just keep having good things happen to them. And more than not, most times, these are people who believe in the process of believing in themselves and to put themselves out there and to do hard things. And by starting this program, it's the hardest thing you'll do because it's different. You're not sure what to expect, but you can make a commitment to yourself. You can show up for yourself. You can do this. It just takes the first step. So, the chat, I've added it in there. I have for the next 24 hours. So, the next 24 hours, if you are listening to this right now, this is an insane deal for 8 weeks of coaching, 8 weeks of just commitment to you, and to see that success go all the way through to the May. And imagine May, in 8 weeks from now, you look the way you want to look, you feel the way you want to look, and you remember this moment where we talked and we said, who are you right now? And who do you want to be? And in this program, I'm giving you the steps and the formula to start doing that on March 15th. Okay, so that is in the chat. I'm gonna send an email out with our replay with all the things in it, but thank you guys. I am just really happy I got to do this. This is what lights me up, is just getting to share these things with y'all, to be really personable and to show y'all that I'm not just a girl flashing on Instagram trying to just have these poppy things. I am just really, really have fallen in love with this lifestyle, and it's something I'm always going to have. I'm always going to share. And I'm just really grateful y'all are here with me on this Sunday. I hope you got a lot of value from today's episode. Like I said, I'm going to send a replay out. Please, if you have questions, connect with me. Have my email, my phone, my Instagram, my website. Please reach out to me for any questions from today. If you're interested in one-on-one coaching, we can definitely set up another session to do a call on that. But yeah, I'm just really excited for the Becoming Her method. We're starting in 1 week from today. So imagine in 1 week. Spring break is here, so we're already hitting a deadline. If you wanted that body by spring break, we're not going to think about that. We're thinking about summer's coming. And yeah, guys, I'm just really happy you could be here. Let me know if you have questions. And happy Women's Day. If you haven't done anything for yourself today, I encourage it. I know me, I'm going to go on a walk right now. I'm going to enjoy this weather. I'm going to enjoy the fact that it's Sunday and I'm blessed and I'm alive and I've got people in my life that love me. And this is the mentality we have, guys, being grateful and just being happy. Okay, well, I appreciate all of y'all. Let me know if y'all have questions. Please reach out to me. Let me know if you have questions on the Becoming Her method. Like I said, we start in a week, so I will be sending out some additional information on it, but I'm really grateful y'all are here. And I will talk to y'all in our next live. Hopefully, I'll see some of y'all's faces. Hopefully, we'll be able to connect offline. But I just appreciate y'all being here, and I hope y'all have a blessed rest of your Sunday. All right, bye everyone. Talk to y'all next time.